Are you betting on Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight? Stick around as I break down Game 3, look into some player props, and give you a free play to get you to the counter.
Trees Bergeron spins the pass to Pasternak. Oh, magic! Now you see it, now you know.
What's good, everybody? It's your capper's favorite capper. I am Exotic Wagers, and I am one of the sports consultants over at the Legacy Sports Discord. We cover most major sports, give out picks daily, and charge just $14.99 a month. Click the link in the description below to join. Well, the long 3-day wait is over, and tonight we get Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals, where Florida takes the long trip down to Edmonton for the Oilers' first home game. Panthers are up 2-0 in the series, and it's pretty much do or die for the Oilers. Both teams are a little banged up, so let's look into Game 3. Before I get into that, don't forget to like this video, drop a comment down below, and let me know your predictions. Follow my page and turn on them notifications so you can get the inside information right when my latest content drops. So in Game 1, the Oilers came out hot and outshot the Panthers in the first two periods. And they kind of just were the eager, better team. Panthers just didn't look right. Kind of took them a long time to get into the game. But the Panthers capitalized on the Oilers' opportunities and mistakes, and ended up making a goal. Bobby played amazing. They were heavy on the forecheck and disrupted them in the third, and never really gave them a chance to come back. But it's really hard to come back on the Panthers because they just suffocate you in any way that they can. It's kind of just what they do. It's how they play. Like I said, Bobby had a shutout on 32 shots, played amazing. In Game 2, I expected the Panthers to come back and play a little better. You know, I feel like the Panthers are a better team. They should have never been outplayed in the first game. So I expected them to play a little bit better. And although the Oilers took the lead in the first period 1-0, Florida outshot and controlled most of the period. In the second period, Florida came out and turned it up again and got that goal from Mikkola in the second period. And then in the third period, early in the period, I think it was like 2 or 3 minutes into the period, Rodriguez ended up taking that other goal and going up 2-1. So, you know, for him getting the goal early in the third period, it was kind of allowed them to sit back and just play defense and just, you know, maybe take an aggressive stance every time the Oilers made a mistake, heavy on the forecheck, try to keep the puck in the offensive zone. But yeah, they played amazing. And then Bobby again held the Oilers to just one goal on 19 shots. So he's allowed one goal in 2 games on 32 and 19 shots. So like I said, Bobby's just playing amazing. Skinner is not playing so well. It's very hard to bet on the Oilers when you know that the Florida Panthers, when they want to, can just outscore the Oilers if they want to, because Bobby's just playing amazing. Like I said in my last video, he's given up 3 or more goals in 16 of the last 19 playoff games. So in just 3 games out of 19 games, he's allowed 3 or more goals. As we look into the odds for Game 3, now let's pull them up here. Bovada is looking nice and juicy at the plus 125 for the Panthers. Over at Bet Online is the best odds you can find right now. If you want to bet on the Oilers at minus 131, the over/under is set at 5.5, and the best odds right now at Bet Online for the over is plus 102, and under is minus 115 over at Betway. So what can we expect in Game 3? You know, I expect a lot of fast hockey. I expect McDavid to try to turn it up, and I think he's got to try to put this team on his back and try to win this game. Some of his teammates are banged up, and it seems like they're not being able to generate a lot of offense. So I expect scoring in this game. Edmonton plays good at home. Whether they'll get more than 2, I don't know, but I think Bobby is going to see a lot of volume, maybe give up 1 or 2 goals, but ultimately I think the Panthers are probably going to, I'd hate to say they pull this one out, but I think if Oilers are going to win any game, it's probably going to be this game 3. Not sure if I'll be playing the Panthers, but I expect a lot of fast, aggressive hockey from McDavid, because they're going to be in total desperation. They know that if they don't win this game, they're probably going from a 10% chance to a 1% chance. I believe the stat is when a team wins the very first game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, the likelihood for them to win is like at 70%, and then when they win their second game, it's like 90 or 91%. So, let alone, it's hard to beat the Panthers 2 or 3 times in a row, but to beat them 3 or 4 times in a row, going down 3-0 would be a very, very steep hill to climb. Edmonton's got to get going on their power play. They've been just totally shut down. They were clicking like at a 37% rate through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, and now they're 0 for 3 with 6 shots on goal on 14 attempts in game 1. In game 2, they were 0 for 4 with 1 shot on goal and 9 attempts. The Florida penalty kill has just been amazing, as well as playing very good with their 5-on-5. It looks like Perry's probably going to be back in the lineup for game 3, but both teams are still, like I was saying, a little bit banged up. Sounds like Nurse is going to be good to go. After that injury to the game, you didn't see him for most of the game after he got hurt, although he did come in for 2 very late shifts. Barkov is still day to day, but he was a full participant in this morning's, or let's see, I'm recording Wednesday night, so today he was in a full participation in practice before tomorrow's game. And if I had to guess, he's going to be playing, even if he's not actively either playing offense. I would expect him to be in the game and just play defense on Draisaitl and keep a body on him and keep him, like I said, from doing what he's doing. Still, really, there's no real answer yet on Kane. I was looking at a few reports, and there's probably not going to know any information until sometime tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. But what do I think? Well, I'll tell you what I think. And it doesn't pay me to say it, but I ain't putting my money on Skinner. And I won't be putting on any other goalie that's available, whether it's Campbell, Pickard, or Rodrigue, I believe is the other guy they brought up for when Campbell got hurt. But now, I haven't got to the window yet on that Panthers juicy plus 125 money line bet. It's looking like a hot, voluptuous, medium rare bone and ribeye over there. Where did you think I was going with that, huh? But yeah, so let's look into some player props, and I'll give you some leans. I don't have any official player props. I do have a 3-leg shot on goal parlay out in the Discord that I gave out right before I started recording this video about an hour ago. So if you would like to get that, please make sure you click the link in the description below and click on the WAP link to join. But yeah, so let me share my screen here. The first player that I'd like to talk about is somebody that was on last game in game 2, and he landed on 3. We're going to look at Connor McDavid here. Now, if we look at his playoff run, let's see. So for the most part, Connor McDavid has been, throughout the entire season, about twice as better at home than he is on the road. If we look at his road stats here, he's at 57% to cover that over 3.5. If you go to his away games, it drastically drops down to 24. But like I was saying in the last game, 4 of the last 5 games after a loss, he's covered this number. If you look at his number versus Florida, he's covered 5 of the last 8 games versus Florida. And like I said, if anybody's going to do something in this game, or at least try to help for the Oilers to try to win this game, it's got to be McDavid. I've heard Draisaitl's a little banged up as well. And yeah, I mean, you've seen it in games where McDavid just from one end to the other takes the puck, doesn't pass it to nobody, just tries to use speed and get a goal. So Connor McDavid over 3.5 shots on goal at plus 100. Let's see if it's still 100. When I was looking earlier, I believe Bet365 was still at plus 100. Yep, they're still at plus 100. You can see there's a few others out there, but the line's pretty consistent. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 5, maybe 6. I don't think the Oilers are going to make this game very easy for them. I honestly think the Oilers are going to probably score and make it very hard for them. So I expect Connor McDavid to continue to try to do the things that he does, and hopefully he can come out with a win. But yeah, like I said, I'm not betting on it. So let me see here. My next player is Sam Reinhart. So depending on where you find this line's actually kind of juicy. It's minus 145. The only book right now that has it at minus 145 is DraftKings. Everybody else is minus 150 or worse. But if we look at let's look at his playoff run here. So playoff run here, we got 79%. He's covered 15 of the last 19 games. And he's actually, I believe he's better at away than he is home. So at home, we're looking at 73%. He's covered 8 of the last 11. And of the away games, he's covered 7 of the last 8. He did have, I don't think he had a shot in the last game. He did not. And it looks like he had 1 attempt. So, you know, these away numbers are really good. Minus 145, I'd say if you can't get minus 145 or not comfortable playing with the minus 145, I'd go ahead and parlay that with one of your favorite looks for today. You could also, if you have FanDuel, take an alt line for McDavid and take 3 shots on goal and 3 shots on goal for Sam Reinhart. It is plus 136 on FanDuel. I looked it up just before I started this video. And I think that's a really good look for plus money for Sam Reinhart and Connor McDavid to each get 3 shots on goal. So yeah, let's see, what else was I gonna look at here? Oh, the free bet. So today's free bet's going to be like I said, I haven't got to the window yet on Panthers money line. Not sure if I will, but where I will go, let's look at the Panthers team total at over 2.5 goals. So let me share my screen again. We're gonna pull up covers.com for anybody that's, either new to sports betting or has never used covers.com, it's a really good website for just general sports betting information. It usually has a very good overall coverage of stats and everything you need to kind of just look at a basic matchup. Obviously, there's a lot more websites that go in depth on different stats, but I like using covers is just a general, if I want to look at a game before I start getting in depth, this is where I usually go. I can also usually, for those that haven't used Line Maker, I also like Line Maker. That one also shows you a few different insights and trends. But there's a handful of websites that I use when capping. It could be, depends if I'm capping hockey or golf. Those are my two main sports that I cap. But for the most part, it's probably 6 to 8 different websites depending on if I'm looking at a specific prop, game prop, player prop, total, team prop, team total. But anyways, let's get back to it. So right here, if we look at the last 10 matchups between the Oilers and the Florida Panthers, this last game 2, Florida won 4-1, so they covered that 2.5 there. In game 1, they did cover that 2.5 there at 3-0. Down in Edmonton last year, last game of the season, they covered that 2.5, 5-1. Got another one where they scored 5. We have another one down in Edmonton where they scored 3. They lost that game in overtime. Got another one here where they where the Panthers only scored 2, so they did not cover there. They did cover here when they lost to the Oilers and got 3. They did score 6 down in Edmonton. They did not score over 2.5 here, and then they scored 6 down in Edmonton back on October 19th. So the over 2.5 shots is 8 of the last 10 versus the Oilers. So I really like this match, this 2.5 line. And then even if you look at their matchups in Edmonton, they're 3-1 to the over 2.5, which means they can shoot down in Edmonton. Edmonton usually plays better at home, and they can score. They scored 6 here. They scored 6 here. They scored 3 here. And is that right? Yeah, they scored 6 there. They scored 6 there. They scored 3 there. And they scored 5 there. So they've scored 2.5 or more goals in all 4 games down at Edmonton. So, and if we go over to Line Maker, pull up Line Mate, or I'm sorry, Line Mate, not Line Maker. The NHL matchup here. So if we look at this a little so you guys can see that better. If you look at some key trends, this is some of the stuff that they show on LineMate. It may not give you a definite answer, but kind of helps you paint a picture and kind of gets you to where you want to be. Florida's conceded 100% less goals in their last 5 games. That's probably all due to Bobby and their defense. But yeah, it has a few key trends here. You know, Edmonton scored 64% less goals in their last 5 games. You can look at the head-to-head records here, where Edmonton is 1-2 at home, and Florida is 2-0-1 at home. This is a good stat right here. Looking at that over 2.5 shots on, or 2.5 team total. Florida's averaging 3.9 goals per game. Edmonton's only averaging 2.1. They got the slight edge on shots on goal per game. Power play percentage. So yeah, if you look at game by game here, you can see in the last 5 games, Florida's had 4, 3, 5, 5, and 3 goals in each of those games. So this is just another way to look at matchups and get some more information on what you like. You can see here for Florida's offense, they're averaging 3.3 goals per game. The defense for Edmonton is averaging 3.6, giving up 3.6 goals per game. And it also gives you a league average so that you can kind of base that based on against the league. Same thing for defense here. Florida is only allowing 2.4 goals per game. Edmonton's allowing 2.9 goals per game. I'm sorry, that last stat, Edmonton was averaging 3.6 goals per game, not giving up. But yeah, you can also see here in their recent form, Florida's 5-0, Edmonton's 3-2. Florida's 4-0 at home. Edmonton is 2-0 at home. Florida is 1-0 away. There is some stats I wanted to see down here. So if you look at their offenses compared to each other per game, you can see what this is in their last 5. They're averaging 3 goals per game, and on the season they average 3.3. Right now, the Edmonton's averaging 2.2, and during the season they average 3.6. Same thing for defense. If you look at Florida, they're only allowing 1.2 goals per game in their last 5. Like I said, that's due to probably the shutout and the 1 goal in the last game versus Edmonton's driving down that number. In the season, they've averaged 2.4 goals allowed per game. Edmonton in the last 5 is averaged 2.2 goals allowed per game. And over the season, they are allowing 2.9. So this is just another, like I said, website to look at while you're looking at different player props and different things when capping games. Like I've said before, you can also find me over here at these social media handles. You can also click the link in the description below. I have the WAP link down there to join the Discord. I also have our social media handles for both myself and the Legacy team. But yeah, I mean, team total is the way I'm going to go for now. I also have a 3-unit future for the Panthers to win the cup. So I've been, looking at that and trying to base some of my wagers against that. Like I said, if the Oilers are going to win a game, I think they're probably going to win this one. I don't see them. I mean, they could win. They could win game 4 if they don't win game 3. Very hard to see them getting swept. But then again, Skinner's in net. And I don't think he's had a bad game yet. And it could still be coming. So who knows? But for now, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, if you guys like this content, please make sure you like this video. Comment down below. Let me know what you think of my content. Who you think's going to win game 3 and who's going to win the Stanley Cup. And turn them notifications on so you can get the latest content like this. Thank you very much. Good luck in all your bets. And we will see you back here for a recap and for game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Go Cats.